Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and here's a little pattern that you could use for almost anything. I've got one of them colored in and one of them just lines, and if you created this in hairlines, you could just vector engrave that really quick, and it'd be pretty cool. You could use it for a font. So I thought I'd show you how I made that. It's pretty easy. I'm going to take a Polygon tool. I'm going to hold down the control button. I'm using a 6-sided polygon. I'm going to go ahead and change it to something other than a hairline if I wanted to engrave it. And now I'm going to go up to Effects and Contour. I'm going to contour just twice to the inside, and I've got that right there. I don't have to break it apart because I'm not really going to use it. I'm going to Control D and I'm going to make a duplicate of that. And I'm going to move that new one and I'm going to have it snap to that corner if you have Snap to on. And in just a second, I'll go over that. So Snap to is right here and I've got Snap to Object. If you don't have Snap to up here in an earlier version, you can go to View and Snap to Guidelines or anything you want. Now I'm going to use my friend, the Smart Fill tool. First of all, I'm going to change my nudge distance to let's see how big this is. It's 21 inches. Let's make it 22 inches. I'm going to use the Smart Fill tool. I'm going to fill in that. What I'm wanting is that pattern, those two shapes. So I'm going to left click, right click, and I'm also going to Control G and make it a group of those two items. I can get rid of these things now. Going to bring this back into the page and bring up your rotation docker, which is under Windows, Dockers, Transform. First of all, I'm going to double click and I'm going to change my rotation to that corner. I'm going to rotate it 120 degrees twice, and I get that shape right there. That's a pretty interesting shape. I actually made the first one a little wider, but I think this is going to work. I'm going to Control G and group that together. And then I'm going to Control D and duplicate it. And I'm going to bring that node to that node. I'm going to have to zoom in here so you see that snap to it. I'm on that node, it's going to snap to that node. Control D, make another one. And you can set your tolerance where it would snap to a little closer. And if you didn't have to move it so much, you could just Control D again. Let's get this out of the way. Now I'm going to Control G and group that together, but then I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate. And then I'm going to bring that piece into that piece. Let's zoom in here and make sure it snapped right to it. Control D and make a duplicate. This time I'm going to go a little higher. I can't really see if it's snapped to it, and it's not. You want this thing perfect. So just back up, grab that node and snap to it. Control D and make a duplicate. This time go low down the scenario. And you can do this a number of ways. Now that you've got a few, I actually like the thicker one better. Control G and make a group of that. Control D. That way you don't have to do it so many times. Zoom in, grab that node right there and have it snap to that node. Now you've got a pretty good pattern going. And you can do anything you want to with this. Control G, group it together. You can make it smaller. The only thing I did probably wrong in that, I probably didn't set the lines when I set it to scale with object, but that's going to be good enough. And then you can do anything with this, any shape. Let's do a 6-sided polygon inside there. And because I have that grouped together, I can hit P and put it in the center of the page. I can grab my polygon and holding down the Shift key, and it will actually expand from the center. I'm going to hit P again, put it in the center of the page. And I'm going to enlarge my You really don't want to ever do that. You want to enlarge from the corner so it's symmetrical. And that's pretty good. I'm going to hit P. Tell you what, I like that a little better. Now I'm going to go here, select everything, and I'm going to go right here to intersect. And it put it inside there. And if you'll do yourself a favor and nudge that over, then you could take your outline and nudge it over and actually make it a black outline or whatever color you wanted and something other than a hairline. And this is what I talked about earlier, scale it to object. So that line won't get any thicker when you get it pretty small. But that's a pretty cool design, and you could do a lot with this. You could color in some of them. Now that I have one that's a little more open, you could quite possibly color fill the empty spots and come up with you wouldn't have to do them all. You know, you could do every other row or do every row like this, change your color, and that would be a pretty neat pattern for anything. A lot of possibilities. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.